What's up, everybody? It's the Players of the Realm, and we're here on another Friday night. Hope everybody's doing good, because we certainly are. We're ready to head out of rote and have some fun. Well, it's been 1 week, and we're here all again. So let's just start it off bang with the question of the session. And Fennec, I guess that we're going to just drop the ball right onto you and head right
Watch it.
into it. I know, get yourself ready here, okay?
Right.
So the question is what role do you kind of see yourself as in the party, or what kind of like character do you see yourself as?
So as much as I didn't want to lean into it, he tends to be more of the pest to the comic relief. I guess you could also call him the mess. I think it was one of the things to kind of look at, but he's serious when he needs to, but he's also where he's on the younger side of the part, actually the youngest in the party. He takes in where he has Mech and Yami as, parental figures. He takes on at times that childish, relief of things, just kind of that impulsive, but like, are you kidding me? Like, really? Like, just kind of that, nature of not always taking things quite seriously.
Yeah, like a goblin, right?
It's like a goblin. Goblin is as goblin does.
Got to gobbo out. Hopefully, you have a big stack of like dice somewhere in a big pool, like can really fit the realm of that. Being a dice goblin or something like that, right?
I do actually.
Oh, well, we'll save that dice collection for another day. You can show it off sometime.
Sounds good.
All right. Let's pop over to Levin, just for example, also for the viewers and everybody who didn't know what kind of we're talking about. We're talking about things like Fennec talked about with the pest, the mess, the comic relief, the strong man, the brains, the mom, all those kind of roles and everything. So we'll open the floor to you, Levin.
Hello, everyone. I'm Aaron, playing the Elf Ranger Levin. And defining Levin's role in the group, I guess the closest one currently would be the planner. He's somebody that prefers going in with information. He's organized and goal-oriented, so he tends to make preparations for pretty much anything that goes on. Spontaneity is not his friend, although this group is forcing him to cope.
I was going to say, spontaneity, not your friend. Well, here you are. But we're glad to have you as the planner because, otherwise, who knows where this party would be? We'd probably still be in Shard, quite frankly. Like, just milling about, hanging out in the one of the Drunken Dragon franchises. Let's pop over to Saris. How you doing?
Meow. I'm doing great. Saris, her role, or her stereotypical place in the party, probably the schemer and the stir of the pot.
Yeah, I think the rest of the group would agree after the last session's heist.
Yeah, she's always looking for the next score, so she's always kind of scheming. And being that she's never been in a group before, she's curious to see what makes them tick, so she'll stir things up and see how they react.
Hey, that was a good idea. I always like to be kept on my toes, quite frankly, so keep it up, keep it up.
Yep. Also, there's a goblin in the party, and, messing with the goblin's fun.
Well, it's funny you say that because you also mess with our next person, Mech, probably even more than Fennec, quite frankly. Like, so Mech will open the floor for you here with that.
I definitely say more. Definitely more than Fennec. Oh wait, that wasn't the question.
No, it wasn't. It was I recognize my man.
So Mech sees himself as like second in command. He doesn't need to be the driving force or leader or whatever per se, but just the one to make the right decisions if he needs to and do the right thing. But at this point, I feel like he feels more like he's like the stepfather, where everyone knows he's there, but no one really listens to him, really gives a shit.
You're not my real dad.
It's pretty much. It's like the respect is there, but not out in the open.
Yeah, you basically inherited, along with Levin, I believe, 3 other compatriots
Mhm.
or children that you're having to take care of.
Kind of in a way. Like I feel like if it was important, people would listen. But if I'm just like, hey, let's not do that, everybody's gonna be like, yeah, man, fuck you.
Let's put it to a vote, right? You know. Well, I think that's everybody. Unfortunately, we won't have Yami with us tonight, so we wish him well and everything, and we'll catch up with him again next week. Let's pop into the recap real quick, right? We had some fun times down the road. Yes, last week. Had some shopping, you know. Let's listen to a little bit.
It's true.
For the younger viewers, that's all done by Lamb. Go check it out.
One of the greatest bands of all time.
One of the best Christmas songs for sure.
The Christmas songs are garbage.
That's exactly we'll back to the Christmas episode. Okay.
Fair enough.
So we had a shopping trip, like I was saying. What else do you guys remember doing everything? Go through the hop on and jazz it up.
Sarah's broke into a police precinct.
Yeah, what the police to the bar.
We both, Sarah and I, followed them to the copper station and did some surveillance. Sarah stole a bug. Big reward. Big risk, big reward, I should say.
Biggest
Guys did some questioning, interviewed by a detective.
We're probably on a watch list.
Oh, more than on a watch list.
Definitely a no-fly list.
Was fire involved?
Actually, I don't think so. No, I don't think we burned anything down this time.
But I think that no-fly list thing is definitely from previous things, not
true.
There even is.
Oh, and Saris met like the Thieves Guild people.
That you did. Coffin James.
Yes. My new best friend.
Hopefully so. I believe then you guys also agreed to hang out with Ramus a little bit and help him out with his task of transporting some refugees. And yeah, right? Do I have it? Is that everything? Or am I forgetting anything else?
I feel like that's all of it.
Yeah. Oh, the shopping trip. You all got different items, actually.
Did we?
You know,
Oh, I did. I got these tools at long last.
yeah, you got thieves' tools, and I think you got a tattoo.
I did.
Fennec got a wand. That was a fun time.
did.
Mac and Levin, what did you guys get again?
Levin got empty spell scrolls so that he can start scribing and preparing for the trip.
Right on.
Mac picked up a potion of growth, so you can be like Megazord. Just be like
Yeah,
ultra robot.
that's it. Okay, and I think we also updated our clothes for funsies. You guys
Oh,
got some more.
I have 4 monocles.
That's right. That's right. The little no, like the national treasure. I thought they were like the little flip glasses that Nicolas Cage had that Benjamin Franklin did.
No, there's just one on each eye, and then there are 2 other ones attached, hanging.
All right, deal. Works for me.
I want this to be canon. Someone draw this.
Darkest timeline. Never. I will never make this visual.
Uh, you got to have the bowler hat, I believe, too. And I would
Yes.
say like slightly to the side, not right perfectly on top, kind of like how Ti would wear his hats.
You mean a
Yeah.
jaunty angle?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Boy, another old reference for some of us.
A cool angle.
Yeah. Dapper angle, some might say.
Ah,
Get it?
Yeah. So let's cut in, right? Let's go get at it. We pick up on a new day in Rote. You guys are gearing up to head out. What do you guys do on a morning that you're about to go off on an adventure? Is there any specific rituals you guys have? A specific breakfast of any sort, or you just roll out the door?
Depending on the time that Levin would have had from the previous day,
Hmm?
he would have spent downtime trying to scribe at least one scroll for usage.
Yeah. Yeah. And how much time does it take you to scribe one down?
For a level 1 scroll, it would be 8 hours for work.
I think you'd have enough time because there's 2 days of downtime, so you can knock out one.
I mean, I would have tried knocking out 2 if I had it available, but that's your call.
Yeah, go for it.
All right.
I like to be a cool DM. Keep it loose. All right. Yeah. So, any other little rituals you guys are completing right before we head out, or?
it's a new quest. Mech would have taken the time to do laundry, clean his monocles, and just get all polished up,
Oh, good.
just the way Saris likes it.
Saris has a bag of mud ready.
You got to get like balloons of them. Throw at it.
Fennec
All
would
right.
just clean up and make sure he has everything needed. And
Right on.
he would have had a breakfast of eggs.
Nice. Basilisk eggs, I'm guessing.
I mean, if
Oh,
they're
no, I'm sorry, cockatrice eggs. That's the good stuff.
nice, rich yolk.
Oh, yeah. A little bit of chunks in it due to the petrification, but
Yeah, those goblins aren't really picky.
that's why you got the teeth, right?
Yeah, we've picked worse, eaten worse, so a little bit of grit never hurt anybody.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So you guys head out the door. You're walking over to the refugee camp. It's a pretty nice day out today. And as you're moving along, you eventually pull up to the camp and you see Ramus hanging out kind of with the caravans on his big old cigar, right? And he opens his hands wide and says to you all, my friends, you've come. Great to see you. You ready to head out now?
Oh, yes. Oh, it's early. How many caravans do we have to take care of?
Well, unfortunately, there ain't many wagons actually to take care of, but there is about 50 or so. You see him kind of like looking over like a long line of people. It probably stretches like almost close to a city block and a half, if you were to imagine that kind of length. It's not like a super like wide line, but it's
Long.
fairly thin due to the size of it's a tight corridor kind of area.
So it's 50 people or 50 wagons?
People. There's only like 3 wagons in total.
Some of those people are walking then.
Oh, everybody's walking.
That's what I like to hear. Builds character. Let's go, everyone. And
Sarah's just walking.
he'll turn back to Ramos, like he'll kind of do like one of those like heel spins, like, and just so we're caught up, it's 150 gold per.
All
100. All right. Just
Indeed.
checking.
Half on the way there, half when we get there, half when we get back.
So half on way there, half on back. All right.
Well, onward and forward. And he starts marching along as he's like literally you hear his like leg kind of like creaking along a little bit. And he's like the whole caravan just starts picking up and marching along with him. Some people are shuffling, you know, due to age and kind of like in previous injuries and the like. And then you notice there's maybe about like not like like maybe 15 other guard looking type people coming along with them as you kind of like are like watching some of the caravan people pass. You know, you see some folk with like heavily armed and jazz, and some people that obviously look like they're wizarding kind of sorts. So this is a fairly well-to-do caravan, or kind of depends on how you view it, I guess.
It's going to say to the group, this is a lot of people to take care of.
Survival of the fittest. You can thin the herd a little bit, be a little easier.
It's not really how it works when you get paid to escort them.
And with that, we're off and we're rolling along the road. Next up, we have a little travel montage. Flash. Screen goes to black all of a sudden. And then we see you guys walking along through the woods and everything. We're moving along. And then the next scene cuts over. You guys are pointing to where like the bird caravans still are sitting out and everything. And you're like, yep, here they are. And Ramos is going like, oh my God, they're caravans. This is ridiculous. And then you guys keep moving along a little further. You start moving along the like in shadows of the howling peaks. You can hear the wind kind of start like blowing past you at certain parts of the day. And as you go further along, you start reaching closer towards the mist marshes and everything. And you can see where like there's a gap inside of the mountain range, the 2 mountain ranges of the Howling Peak and the what's that one called? The Seawall Mountain. Yeah, the Seawall Mountains. And it creates a little bit of a swampland over to your northern path. And it's kind of a little more plains-ish on the right side, or on the southern side, I should say. As you guys start making your way, you notice that now you're going to have to do a little bit of like light off-roading, as it's called. So there's no like direct path necessarily, but the road is there. It's not a very like well-maintained road though. And as you guys start moving along, we pass through another day, and then one night we come to find ourselves in the camp. And let's say you guys are all gathered around. Ta-da! Can we all see?
Yes.
Yep.
Wonderful. Perfect. And the game's unpaused. I always forget to do that. And so you guys are talking and milling about. And, it's still fairly early in the evening. How have you guys have been typically spending the nights with the caravan? Have you been talking to people? whether it be refugees, guards, Ramos himself. Just give a little bit of brief kind of like overlay of what's been happening the last few days with your guy.
I would say Mech would have tried to find anyone that looked like they were trying to be helpful with keeping everything protected and keeping some kind of order and a system to communicate, because it's a long line of people. It's hard to get that info across. So he's just going to try to take like a military point of view from it.
Okay.
Yeah, Levin would have spent some time trying to see who among the refugees is most motivated, because either they're going to help or they're going to hurt. But to him, it would be a case of, like, who's here trying to be somebody in this group?
Okay.
So there I was, minding my business in the bar, and I'm telling my own story. And all of a sudden, this bard out of nowhere starts just singing my story, claiming it as his own original music, and I get no cut. And then they have the audacity to tell me he's a good guy. He helps the little ones. Bunch of BS. Guy's a con.
Fennec, I was there.
You've been telling us this every night.
No, he's not telling it to you guys. He's the caravan people, like, just telling anybody he can. He's just complaining about this bard still.
He finds a new group of people every night to complain about.
Yep.
But the reason it keeps getting interesting is off to the side, Saris will be using minor illusion to create images,
Ooh, I like it.
which sort of add to the sort of heroic quality of Fennec's story.
So PowerPoint. So here we have him eavesdropping on me.
And he's got like this like caricaturishly devilish grin, like ear off to the side, eyes like very beady, staring at Fennec.
Yeah, and he's like playing his lute like as if he's like trying to like over listen to him as he's doing it. I could totally see it. You even start noticing that a couple children like some of them are consistently coming back to find you guys doing this, by the way.
Timmy, did you get taller? Or as tall as me?
I did. I grew overnight. He had a 7-inch, 1 foot growth spurt. He's now taller than you.
So Fennec will look at Saris. See, my story adds substance.
There we go.
It grows on you.
Speaking of adding something, here, Saris Mech, I have something for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally toss a spell scroll to Saris and a spell scroll to Mech.
Oh. And what's this for?
Utility, mostly. And let's see. Where did it?
He's gonna read it over to figure out what it is.
No, I tried passing it over to a sheet and it didn't. So 1 second. Short version. I'm passing a scroll of Fog Cloud to Saris and a scroll of Disguise Self to Mech.
Ooh.
Very cool.
I'll coordinate with the DM to get those items onto your sheets in Foundry, but that's for later.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'll make a note.
Well, yeah. Sort that out over the break or something like that.
Yep.
Unless I use it.
I mean, go ahead and do it right now, right? Make it as a good. I mean, Fog Cloud would be a cool. Well, no way. It like blinds everybody in the area. I was thinking of it like a smoke machine as Fennec tells the story.
Kind of tempted. Kind of tempted.
Dark and stormy night.
You could
I mean, it will
replicate
be a
that
fog
with-
machine, but it just won't turn off.
Yeah, exactly.
Could you please not waste them? I did actually commit resources to making those for you.
Narrows her eyes at him.
No, thank you, Levin. This will definitely come in handy.
What do you got for me?
I gave you something back on the train.
Sorry, say that again.
I gave you something back on the lightning rail.
Oh, right, that. Yep.
Besides,
Right.
I'll have something prepared for you a little later. It takes time to make these.
What was it you gave me on the train again?
Remember when we opened that chest and you had those notes?
Yes.
I was trusting you with those.
Oh, right. Yes, I have those right here. He kind of opens his cloak a little bit.
They're gone. I took them. No, I'm kidding.
Yep, I got them nice and safe for you, buddy.
Like I said, I'll have something prepared for you, hopefully, once this business is over with.
Take your time. I'm not needy.
I appreciate it.
And just to close the book on the other two notes, by the way, with Princess Mac, you've actually found someone of a compatriot named Merrick Stoneheart. He's a dwarf fighter. You've maybe been hanging out with him a little bit, doing a little bit of training drills, because he also uses the warhammer and shield. You guys have been he's one of the fellow guards. I should also say that too. He's not a refugee. And he likes to, you guys have been chatting it up, maybe trading stories if you do that also. He's very seasoned with doing mercenary jobs and everything.
Oh, that's perfect. That'll come in handy.
What was his name again?
Merrick Stoneheart. 2 R's, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
You guys have gotten to know each other a little bit. He's introduced you to some of the other veterans, let's call them, that have been doing the refugee traveling a little bit. He introduced you to another half elf, Seraphina, and somebody who seems to be a changeling named Thalia. And then also a woman named Mei Li. Who she's a elf. Sorry. Yeah, I was just double checking the notes.
Okay.
Yeah. Levin, you got introduced to a couple different people. You notice that there's one older refugee man. His name is Harold.
And
Yeah. He's
this
kind
individual,
of
I'm assuming, human?
Yeah, a human. Here's him blowing his nose. Those goblin noses, man. Yeah, so Harold is a human. He's a very old man. We're talking he's in his 70s, he seems like, but he's very with it. And he seems to be helping the refugees stay organized. And if you've gotten to know him a little bit, he's kind of he used to be kind of like a old wise man, if you catch my drift. He wasn't a mayor necessarily or anything like that, but people would come to him, and the actual town officials would come to him for advice and that kind of thing. And he was seen as a senior kind of leader guy.
All right.
Yeah. You've also maybe been introduced to some of the people that Mech has met, and based on kind of everything how you guys are doing. Otherwise, with the refugees, there's not anybody that's particularly of if you, as you were kind of saying, I think trying to be an up and comer of sorts. Am I getting that right?
Close enough, yes.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, because otherwise, most of these people are trying to just get on with moving their life along. You understand that these people lost a lot of their possessions during the morning and everything, and they've kind of been traveling across the Breland. They made their way to Roe, and now they're coming back towards the moorland, which is also causing a little bit of trepidation, let's say, to doing
Mhm.
that. So, going into the night, let Fennec finishes his story, with a big shebang, I imagine, with Saris setting off some big illusion for when Fennec sucks the bard in the mouth, and reclaims his honor and everything.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I mean, come on, like, if you're embellishing the story, embellish it good.
Let's just
They're-
say after I punched him, he never sang in a low tone again.
He was only an alto. You guys hit the hay. I'm guessing, or do you guys like help? Or I should say this: what do you guys kind of like to do with your watch schedule? Don't think of this as like a serious like setting up watch, but like, are some of you guys night owl watch people? Or some of you guys early morning kind of jazz? Because there is like a good amount of other guards, so it's not like you guys have this plan out like I'm the first watch, second watch, third. Just like think of it like it is a nebulous night owl or early morning.
Fennec would definitely be a night owl. Just having to like be in the darkness.
You have dark vision, don't you?
Do.
You always have to remember to tell me that whenever I say it's dark outside, by the way, remember. The
Yeah,
team is never complete without that.
He has the dark vision, but like just how he feels connected in the dark or like the shadows, it just kind of brings him a little bit more ease. He actually feels safer in dark.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. It's like a necromancer kind of guy, so.
I mean, yeah, being a shadow sorcerer.
Levin, Sarah, Smack, what about y'all?
Saris is just. I mean, she'll sort of keep watch while she's awake. She only has to sleep for 4 hours, quote unquote sleep.
All right,
Or rest.
And I'm usually like sleeping but awake, conscious, pretty much. So I'd probably take the early shift. Stay
Yeah.
by the fire, sit out there all night.
Levin would have taken a spot in like a darker area away from direct light to better utilize the cover and maintain a watch from that position.
Okay.
He would have emphasized watching during like twilight hours, like sundown, sunup.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that's when everything's like gray or blue or orange all over.
You just like the colors.
Not so much liking the colors. It's hardest to define items of contrast under those light conditions.
True. Yeah. Fair point. You guys also mostly have character races that like don't need a lot of sleep, don't you? I just realized
Yeah.
that. Like,
Yeah, Saris only needs the 4-hour trance. I think Levin only needs a 4-hour trance. And
Yeah.
Mech doesn't technically sleep, he just has to be inanimate.
And I only need 6 instead of 8.
And so Fennec, you're the only one that actually needs the sleep, really.
So we just put our little babu in the middle and we face 3 ways out staring.
Yes, sleep and rest are different things. We all need rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the sleeping thing is basically just okay.
Optional for 3 of us.
Technically, like even technically between Levin and Saris, no, like someone's awake. Just you only need 2 people to be awake, quote unquote, for watch.
Right.
But it is our duty to keep watch over a whole bunch of people, so maybe we shouldn't just have one person per shift. We should have some overlap.
I don't know if that's silly enough to let something get taken. It's kind of their fault. Look at them. They've got the numbers. They could all sleep for half an hour and still have all people not help out. I didn't know what I was saying.
Well, you
She-
know, you guys would have been relayed that there is a fairly scheduled shift order with it. It's just kind of like where you guys want to fit into the order. They're pretty adaptable, you know.
Hmm.
These like 15 other people have done this job before for the most part. There's maybe only like 5 other people who haven't done this before. So the rest of them are pretty like experienced with like setting up the order or just knowing kind of like, all right, so and so does like to do the earlier times, so and so does the twilight and dawn, like I've been saying, and yada yada.
And that's specifically like why I kept areas where there's no light from any location because I don't want them seeing me do this, if possible, until the light of the day is actually hit.
Right on. Everybody roll me a perception check. Everybody.
Dice.
Everybody. Well, I'm gonna roll perception.
Perception.
Speaking
Can
of
I
dice,
use
if
guidance?
you need to roll for perception, go to Dice Legion and put oh man, I totally forgot. Yeah,
POTR.
POTR, there it is. Players of the Realm. That's the name of our thing. How did I forget that?
Don't worry, you know, we'll make another
Can I cast guidance on myself for this?
You sure could. Yeah.
Yay.
Don't
5.
worry, Mac. Even if you mess up the name of it, the code will be down in the doobly doo, okay? So
Gotcha.
go nicely use the link that's on there and you'll be keen as heck.
Even though I fucked up, it's still
Doobly-doo.
10%. Don't worry.
Doobly doo.
Yeah.
And if you're using your perception for hearing, check us out on Spotify.
Clever.
Thank you.
Levin cringes with a 22.
Mike's got a 3.
Oh, I beat Mac. I got a 5. Goals.
Okay. Let's see. 11. Oh, okay. There's Mac and there's. Okay, cool.
See, Matt, we're trying to buy our roles with the advertisements.
Yeah, not happening.
The
Yeah.
RNG isn't listening.
We need to advertise more.
Well, unfortunately, with these animated dice, doesn't work like that. As you, so you guys are going through your night, and Levin, during part of the twilight hours, you think it like, for instance, you see like a shift, like of a shadow going from like one tent to another, but you don't remember seeing a person at a certain point. In Saris, you see the same thing happen at one point during your time at the watch in the evening as well.
Hmm.
When you like if you go to investigate it, like you go and turn around and you like run past the tent, you look to your left and there's no one there. You look to your right, no one there as well.
This is bothersome. Saris would go to investigate.
But do you investigate as well?
Levin would circle around and approach from a different angle than Saris.
Okay. You guys can roll investigations.
And this is where it all goes pear-shaped.
The perception was to make sure it wasn't me.
Huh, I did better than 11. I'll take it.
As you guys are investigating, you don't see any tracks or anything that particularly stands out from it. You don't see anything fresh in particular. However, this is a fairly large camp at this point, and there is a lot of like scuff marks, footprints laying all about. And the night is fairly quiet and otherwise.
Hmm.
as you guys kind of situate yourselves, back into your routine, maybe a little bit more on edge, the night starts to go on and on until eventually the morning comes. And guess what we can do?
Finish a long.
Finish a long rest. Yes, yes, yes. I can also jazz this up a little bit. Hey, it's morning.
Yay!
Hey, that's cool.
I love these maps that work like this. It's so fun.
Foul betrayal.
As you guys are kind of getting your gear up and ready, Ramos comes over to you guys. He's holding like a big, he's got a cigar in his mouth. He's got a mug of coffee, and then like one of the other, like a pitcher of it too. And he comes up and says, ready for the big leg of the journey? We're about to start heading through the Seawall Mountain path, or the area next to it, I should say. We'll be up for a good ride soon, or a good hike, I suppose. Unfortunately, since we don't have any wagons. He suddenly also has a more Eastern accent compared to Southern.
Right. I'm assuming you're going to need someone to scout ahead.
If you like. But first, any of y'all need some coffee or anything?
Oh, I would love some. Dark.
And as Fennec says he'd like some coffee, a person comes like hustling up to Ramos and like whispers something into his ear. He kind of like gives a look and says, "Damn it." And he puts his cup down and says, "Quick, come with me, y'all. Something's happened. Someone's died, apparently. We need to go take care of it."
Mm.
And as you guys go over to one of the tents, you open the flap door and you see Harold lying on the ground.
Do we know Harold?
He was a respected elder in the group.
Not
Yes.
Harold.
He was more of a social coordinator for the refugees here.
How does he
that?
look?
Yeah, does he look like he died of natural causes, or is there like a knife in his eye?
Yeah, Levin is checking for any obvious wounds.
Give me an investigation, Levin. Saris, you would notice that there's no knife in his eye, nor is there any blood pooling or anything like that.
Efficiency in medicine. Can I check for check for cause of death, and if not an
Sure.
obvious one, possibly like poison, strangulation, that sort of thing.
Go for it. Yeah, I like a medicine check.
I'm gonna pray to my goddess to give me guidance.
Since I'm checking for wounds in specific, would I be able to substitute with a medicine check?
Yeah, sure.
All right, 16 for Levin.
There's no signs of hemorrhaging or like knife wounds. There's not even like a sign of like that his body has been like bloodied in any sort of way. No bruising.
No obvious external ones.
Yeah, and even like when, for instance, Saris goes and like looks into his mouth and kind of like pokes into his ears, she wouldn't even see any like blood coming out of there or anything.
Is there a way that Fennec could like see or check if the death was caused by like otherworldly conditions or what's the word? Causes?
How would Fennec do that?
Can he get a sense of like if there was magic present in this tent? Like a different type of aura or essence, maybe a little dark magic?
As in the detect magic spell?
Not so much that, but I guess categorizing it.
I mean, that is literally the spell.
Yeah,
he doesn't have
because
that.
unless you had, because unless like you had another idea, because there isn't like a skill necessarily in this that's like.
Well, what about I was thinking Arcana, but I was trying to think of how to word it.
True. Arcana is more like
Recall.
Like, you would recall lore about spells, magic items,
Yeah,
eldritch symbols,
yeah,
magical
exactly.
magicians.
Yeah.
You might be able to identify if magic was used here and not necessarily the type.
So
True.
yeah, I guess that's what I was trying to go for.
Yeah. Go for it. Why not? Yeah.
Levin is actually going to carefully check for a pulse.
A
He is
12. When you say dead, you're saying there's
Because somebody might have simply mistaken him for dead.
He's just old as shit.
All right, so in the notes, no blood, no wound, no pulse.
I would think that the medicine check would have been, check for pulse first.
Well,
Basic
no,
CPR.
check for obvious wounds. Somebody claimed he was killed.
Is anybody certified in CPR in this whole thing? Seriously?
How
Do you?
As a character or as a player? Because those are very different questions.
No, I want to see Fennec's CPR certification, please.
Fennec doesn't have enough weight to actually compress a chest.
He's got to jump on him.
Yeah, he's got to hop on.
Just turn him into a bouncy castle.
I am not seeing any problems with this idea.
You'd be surprised.
That terrifies
Hold on,
me.
you want to see my certification? Ferris, do you have, what is it, forged documents or something?
Not for this. But I mean, technically, Sarah's like having proficient in medicine. Wouldn't that include like some sort of CPR technique?
Yes, some sort, of course.
It's the Order of the Red Cross.
I mean,
You know what? Making it a thing now. There's the I'm gonna make up a dragon house now for.
there is one.
House
perfect.
Jurassic.
Yeah. Next thing you go to, there's gonna be a big drive for it. So the arcanes check, by the way. There isn't any sort of magical damage that you can notice. However, as you start, like immediately, I should say, when you start to look closer, his like musculature seems to be a little bit like faded away, but it's tough for you to tell if that's because of his age or if it was something magical, being also that you didn't have any like tight interactions with him.
Okay. Hmm.
Can I go to Ramos?
Fennec will kind of just put that in the back of his mind. Interesting.
Well, we better bury him off. People won't like it, but I'll have to do a quick ceremony and then head off onto the road.
Ramos, question for you.
What is it?
Was Harold here, our dear friend Harold, before he passed, what was his, what kind of condition was he in? What kind of like physical state? Was he fit? Was he slouchy? Was he,
Old.
He
was an old man.
What was his, and Levin, you said he was more like a social person?
Indeed he was.
And the last time I saw him, he was reasonably healthy for his age.
Was he always so like wrinkly, a little flabby?
Having this pointed out, does Harold seem a little more gaunt than Levin would remember?
You think so? Off of your medicine check from the last time, unless you want to roll again.
No, I'll go off that.
He does look a little more gaunt. particularly like around his. You notice it in his like shoulders and clavicle.
Oh, that's unusual.
What do you see?
Well, people don't typically lose muscle mass in less than a day.
That's
Not
what I was
unless
thinking.
it's magical or surgical.
Did I know I had to take a little bit of a nap last night, but did any of you three see anything peculiar throughout the night?
Pardon me, Ramos. Where was his body found? Here?
Well, I know, yeah. I don't. I assume the villagers ain't move him.
Can you bring the person who found the body here, then?
Of course, we'll wrangle him up. Then he pops like outside for a moment. A minute later, he comes back in. Is like, here's the guy, and he's like one of the guys that you've seen hanging around Harold often. Levin, he's not anybody particularly of note. His name's Ryan. He's just this kind of like he's maybe in his like 50s or so. He's a human. He kind of like helps make sure that Harold's okay, and being that he's so much older, but they don't have any sort of straight blood relation. He goes and he tells you how like he helped Harold settle in for the night. He left them alone in the tent. He came back in the morning to help him like pack the tent up and everything, and he found him there on the ground in his sleeping bag, basically.
As a cross-reference, was this the tent where me and Saris observed the shadow moving?
With that, you will have to make an investigation check or some sort of related intelligence check.
This is literally referencing material that he went to go follow up on, and either we're back at the tent or we're not.
It's farther than that tent, than where you saw the thing happen.
Thank you.
Should
Any
at
other
least bury him and be on our way.
Levin, but I'm. You never gave me an answer. My question prompted more questions from you.
Could you please restate?
I asked if you saw anything peculiar last night. You never answered, and you just went on another set of questions going off of my question.
Apologies. Yes, I observed something. It was in a different location. And I did not have the opportunity to follow up on that. I was attempting to do so now.
Can I join you?
I'm not particularly against it, but do you have experience with investigation or tracking?
Kinda, sorta. I can get into small spaces.
Do be aware that we're in a camp. It's nothing but tents. Tight spaces aren't really in abundance.
I guess I want to. My reason for wanting to come is you mentioned the loss of muscle. I also noticed that, but I also know sometimes magic can be involved, and I'm a curious gobbo. I want to learn, and if there's magic at play, I
already informed you I wasn't against it.
I know. I just felt like telling you why I wanted.
All right. Let's have a look around then.
All right, my little sidekick. Let's go.
Well, if y'all don't mind, we're gonna get him buried so we can get the caravan moving. Or do you have anything else you need to do with the body?
No, I'm finished here. I'm going to do a perimeter with Finnick.
Okay.
I'm gonna do Oh, can I do it once more over to see if there's any wounds like under the clothing or anything?
Everything's been pretty thoroughly done over. I
we
mean,
should
even
allow
if
for some respect here.
Yeah.
All right. His pockets alone.
we need to get his move along.
Fennec, and I whisper over to Fennec, a bit of a spoiler alert, he really didn't carry much on him.
Ah, cheapo. Okay.
More of, he was at the time of his life where he just stopped caring. He had people attending to him.
Life goals. Not for me.
If you say.
As they lift old Harold out, a couple people come in to carry the body. They wrap him up. They lift him out. And they go out of the hut. Can y'all give me a perception check?
A 6.
Not doing so good with these perception checks. They just keep getting lower and lower.
I didn't even see Max.
I got a 1.
Oh, well
I
then.
beat you with a 6.
I can see why you hit it. So, Cyrus, what you see happen as they lift his body up and they start moving out is you get the feeling that something is off when you're looking as you're kind of like looking around the hut and everything, and you watch them lift up the body and they carry him out. There's just something that you're keenly aware that should be there, but you can't quite place what it is. And Levin, you almost immediately, and then Saris, you notice this almost at the same time that Levin immediately notices this. There doesn't seem to be a shadow underneath him as they carry him out of the hut. And with that, we'll pause off there and we'll go into the break for a moment.
Okay.
remember, everybody, check us out also not only here on Twitch and on YouTube with the Players of the Realms, but go to playersoftherealms.com. Check out any of the merch there. And also, if you go to the Patreon site, you can, of course, get a discount with that. Also, feel free to hit us up on Instagram, Red, that new hot topic thing that's going on that, is challenging Twitter and all that jazz. So, but that's a story for a different day, isn't it? And check it out on all the links in the doobly-doo. If you notice up top, there's also a little bit of a rotating doodad. Go check that out too. Go ahead and give it a click. We're picking it back up with Harold being let out of the tent. Saris and Levin coming to the realization at slightly different times. One's a little bit slower than the other, that there is no shadow underneath his body as he's being let out of the tent. And as they carry old Harold out, Rama says, all right, well, let's go get everybody ready, right? Or was there something else that y'all wanted to do?
I think we in Levin Fenric will point at Levin. I think we were going to go check something out real quick. We'll catch up.
All right, well, don't take too long. I'm gonna get the rest of the crew moving along, and we'll see you on the trail either way. Don't get lost or left too far behind. With that, he lifts the flap of the tent and heads out on his way.
Next, gonna go to Fennec. What it is that we need to do.
Levin mentioned that he saw something. I just wanted to go with him to check it out.
Fennec,
Yes.
you've professed a connection to the origins of your magic before, yes?
Yeah. Kind of the phrase that. I believe a lot of my abilities and skills but my abilities have kind of come from whatever happened in the morning.
Do you have any formal teachings or learnings about your magics?
Here and there through books, but things just kind of come to me over time, and it's just focusing and practice.
Pardon, but the reason I ask is I've seen something very unusual, and it might be related.
It's just Saris changing her look.
No, not that.
Oh.
When they were taking Harold's body away, there was a distinct lack of a shadow being cast.
No shadow.
Have you heard of instances of a shadow not being connected to an adjacent creature or structure?
DM, would Fennec know something like that?
Now would be your Arcana check.
Could I argue?
Or religion if it's particularly spooky.
Religion too would work. I'd give you that too.
They're both the same.
You will get different answers depending on which.
Could I potentially argue advantage because of Levin's detailed description, so I know kind of what to recall? No, okay, it was worth a shot.
That's what's getting you the roll.
Though.
Oh, come on, you dumb goblin. 7 for Arcana. Nothing's coming to mind. Whatever. What? Sorry.
You do know that there's a lot of different goblin tales relating to things of like essences being stolen from people is the problem. that you're coming up against, and it's almost like, but the question that Levin is asking, and your problem is it's a vaguity to it, I guess, would be the thing. Goblins have stories about people having their names stolen, their essences, all
So like,
sorts of
I would associate that.
yeah.
And
So,
I'm assuming with Fennec, you were like in a library with your two dads. You explicitly stated you were not raised by goblins.
Yeah, so Fennec wouldn't even have any idea about the tales.
Then that's what you read. Then that's what you kind of picked up in the reading of the library. Then
Yeah, that's for what I'm figuring what the gap was.
Yeah. Okay. I can. Oh wait. So with a 7, I can do this. Nope. So there are tales, whispers that have been passed down through that I've kind of seen in goblin writings in the libraries, but not fully understanding goblin. I wasn't able to translate it, so I mean, through tales in the streets and things like that, I heard of people having kind of like their essence, I guess, stolen or taken away, but nothing that could give a definitive this is what that is.
the Babadook.
So,
And don't judge me for not understanding goblin.
I was not aware that you, as a goblin, didn't understand goblin language.
Oh, yes, no, I speak goblin very fluently. And you just make like a guttural sound. That means don't worry about it.
I'm not going to. But from what you're telling me, it seems like we need to start asking around.
That might be a good place to start.
All right, Saris Mech, what are you guys doing while they're kind of like going to start looking around, asking around town and everything?
Sarah is basically gonna walk up to Mac. It's like, all right, let's get you all disguised up, and she's gonna start putting like dirt on his shine. Don't want you attracting attention from a distance.
I was gonna go help with the burial, but thanks for speeding up the process.
Yep. Excellent. Yes.
You notice
now-
that, like, go ahead.
No, that was it.
You notice that, like, as you start like dirtying Mech up, Ramos comes like strolling by, puffing on his cigar, and says, "Great idea. When we go through the canyons and through the mountains, he ain't gonna want to be so shiny. He'll draw a lot of attention to himself that way." And then he kind of just keeps strolling on.
Mech's gonna look at Saris and just be like, I get it. Yep.
I'm glad that you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Levin, Mech, how do you guys go? I mean, sorry, Levin, Fennec, how do you guys go asking around the refugee camp about your information gathering?
11 would be initially starting with the leading questions of people seeing shadows moving when they shouldn't be. And eventually he would focus on like other elders of the group or other sickly or weak individuals to see if they in particular would have noticed such things happening.
I'm gonna make a little roll here. One other woman confirms she's an elf, and she confirms that while she was out getting water for their like tent, that she saw she thought she saw like a shadow move across one of the tent awnings and she is like fairly close to where Harold was. But otherwise, you don't get too much of an answer of like people seeing oddities or anything like that.
When you saw this shadow moving in the direction of Harold's former days, did you happen to hear anything? Was there any like struggle, scream, unusual sounds that you might have picked up on?
Well, I'm a little bit far away from Harold's hut, but I would say that I didn't hear anything particularly of notice.
Nothing going bump in the night.
No. Nothing going bump in the night. You would also know that Harold's hut is maybe like 25 yards away ish. Not like terribly close, but not terribly far. So,
Can I see if, like, how her body language is reading? Like, is she nervous speaking? Like, is it a genuine answer? Does she really not know?
yeah,
Or is she going to cover up something?
you can do a quick roll if you like. Otherwise, with an insight, I believe it would be.
Come on, dice. No, 5. This woman is lying in her freaking pants. 5.
In a way, she is nervous. However, I think that she's nervous more whenever she looks at you, Fennec. And when she's looking at Levin, her answers seem to be true, though.
Well, thank you for your time. If you remember anything, please see my esteemed colleague over here.
Thank you. Thanks. We gotta get moving on from what I heard.
Yes, we have to pay respects to Harold, and we'll be packing up camp.
Oh, we're already almost done picking up. The ceremony was held a few minutes ago. Unfortunately, we couldn't, it was only a small little thing from what I heard. Bless his heart, we had to, things have to be done quick when we're on the move like this.
We'll see about getting him more proper accommodations at a later venture.
Indeed. I'm gonna head off now. Thanks, y'all.
As a precaution, in case anything goes awry for the following evenings, keep a strong light with you.
Will do. Thank you.
Fennec, I have an idea of what this might be, but I'm not quite sure yet.
What do you think?
Either someone in the camp is controlling shadows and using that as a cover to engage in other activities, or it's a less than natural creature that's doing it.
So, in regards to someone doing it, when we were at those ruins, didn't one of them say "my lady"? And kind of they were raising the. Do you think that maybe they have an insider in this camp that are messing with things?
I don't have enough information to be sure of that connection.
I'd have to talk to Saris about it.
Let's regroup. We need to at least give Ramos a heads up to start warning everyone to keep lights near them. If for nothing else, then to have extra sets of eyes on things.
Okay. As you guys, again, you got to pack up your gear and everything and head out. We're gonna move the day along. You're gonna relay that information to Ramos. He's gonna take it like, all right, we'll let them know we'll turn the lights up extra bright. See if we can, see if anything's peculiar going on. But I'm sure this is just a who knows. I'm sure Harold just passed away. But
Pardon my paranoia.
it's all good, Levin. I know it's your first time potentially, or I don't know if it is or isn't, going through these hills. They got a way of spooking peeps. And you gotta always keep your wits with you. All right.
Levin's gonna nod and head off.
All right. We're gonna the next day of traveling. You guys start getting more like mountainous terrains as you're kind of like winding in and out of the seawall mountains. Eventually, the night comes. The pet comes in. Oh my God! No one listened to you. There's no campfires.
People had one job.
No, I'm joking. But and so as you guys set up again, you go into your watches. I'd like you guys to each either choose to do a perception, investigation, or an applicable kind of skill, depending on how also if you have any other ideas for how you might be doing something around the camp, feel free to shout it out. Don't all shout out at once.
Levin is going to keep a perimeter, focusing towards, again, the elderly and the sickly.
Okay.
And he's going to maintain pretty much he's going to do his rounds around that area.
All right.
Cyrus is going to watch the old people.
Okay.
Can I
Guys,
grab Stoneheart and try to get him to get in a whole bunch of other people on watch?
well, yeah, we're on watch. I mean, wow, that's a shitty accent. Sorry. we're on watch. What you talking
Lean
about?
into it.
No, I said this before. I'm done with Scottish people being dwarves. Dwarves are Appalachian, all right? And so Appalachian we will be. Whichever version you want, from Georgia down up to West Virginia.
I want Fallout 76.
Yeah, basically.
You always try a Cork accent.
My West Virginia is a little bit better, I think, but go Mountaineers. So he said, yeah, of course we're gonna have a watch. Like, what you talking about? Look, we'll be. You mean we need to be vigilant, extra vigilant, or something?
That would be helpful, yes.
All right.
At
Damn.
least for a day or two.
All right. Look, I was fixing to have some good shine with us, Mech. Get you good and lubricated. Myself too. But all right, we'll stay good and alert.
Nope, not going to ask.
It'd be
Oh,
appreciated.
you can ask.
Social libations.
Does Mech use booze to lubricate? I could.
Oh yes, go all bender.
Careful, vodka will dry you out.
My mind went somewhere else.
Yeah, I'll do what Cyrus was thinking.
I was trying to be deft and tactful, but sure.
Leave it to it. So, as you guys are doing your thing, let's see. Ooh, 18, 23. Fennec, Mac, go ahead and hit yours. Mac, I'll give you a little bonus onto yours of +2, which would be a 16, since you're getting help from Stoneheart, basically, but not like super help, not advantage.
Definitely not helpful.
Well, like they're staying alert is what I'm kind of trying to give you the vibe of.
I'm keeping him sober. Great.
Look, with the dwarf and everything, you did a heroic job of doing that. Okay.
Yeah, he's lying.
You only got a little buzz.
Dwarfs are always drunk.
So as you guys are making your passes through the night, Saris, you start to see something like moving quickly in between the tents. And Levin, if Saris makes any noise to call out, you would hear it too from over where she's at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she would definitely like get his attention and point it out.
And you guys start following on the trail, trying to corner the person in the tents. And
Can I get up and go with them? Because I'm always conscious if they're like leaving the campsite.
yeah, they're patrolling around. Is kind of what the vibe we're setting.
Because I saw them, I would have figured I saw them do it last time. Because I'm never really sleeping.
True. Yeah. So we can say you're following along with let's say like Levin. Let's say you're going on patrol with him, and as you guys like round one of the corners to the tent, you see like a shadow, or Lemon and Saris. You see like a shadow slip underneath a crease in one of the tents inside another one. Like we're talking like how like the bottom of the tent has like a little gap usually.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's like right up in 3.
And I cast Divine Sense.
You sure could. Yeah, why not?
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna click the button.
I ain't
I
gonna
did it.
stop you.
It's detection from good and evil. Celestial, fiend, undead, 60 feet, as long as it's not behind total cover.
So you'd have to be in the tent, or the tent will provide a cover.
Yeah, I believe that does count as total cover, doesn't it?
It may not be a good cover, but it's still cover.
No, it can prevent most barriers, but it's blocked by a foot of stone, common metal, sheet of lead, 3 feet of wood or dirt. So no, you can. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that part. Apologies.
No good. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, either way.
What time of the night is this happening?
Around like 1 a.m.
So Fennec
right.
Fennec would have been up because that would be the time he'd want his watch or his rotation.
Sure.
So he would have probably gone with Mech.
Cool.
Gang's all
Well,
here.
You guys
Fantastic.
just split up and then like basically round around that tent, then found it, and then as Mech casts Protect Good and Evil, you would get a strong sense of an undead evil presence in front of you.
Wasn't he using his divine sense?
It detects good and evil.
Oh, never
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah,
Detect all of that.
the feature Divine Sense, and it's detecting the presence of those creatures categorized within the description.
Yeah. Either way,
Levin's
that's
going
my
to
description.
Levin's going to call out to anyone that might be in the tent to see if he gets a response. If no response, he's opening the tent.
What's that all? What's that going on?
Inside.
What?
Eleven.
Who are you?
Apologies, just we're doing a check and we saw something around your tent. We just want to make sure you're safe.
This is before you burst in, by the way.
Oh,
She started
before.
screaming? Yes, Ceres was already on her way in anyway. She wasn't going to wait.
Tent is being flung open.
So yeah, Sarah, so you hear her go like, "Oh yeah, what? Oh," and then you open the flap and you see like a shadow looming over her. And well, shit, we're gonna have to roll initiative.
You brought
No
this on
objections there.
yourself.
Oh yes, please, let's blame the old person that was being attacked helplessly in the night.
Yes.
Was it the woman that Levin and Fennec had talked to earlier?
Pardon?
The person screaming, is it the one that
Oh no, that woman was like in her like early years. Wait, what the heck happened? There we go.
I know what happened. Levin got a 26 on initiative.
I deleted you. Yeah, good on me.
Fennec has not rolled in double digits yet?
Same, fam. Same, man.
With modifiers.
So let's just say that this inside of the this ring is the tent, and the opening over to this like left side is the opening. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
just to make things nice and easy.
So right there's the opening.
Correctamundo.
All right, so
Where we're outside. Okay.
11, you barged in, right?
Yeah, I flung the tent open
Uh-oh.
as soon as, like,
Went in. Ceres just
Yeah.
stepped in. She didn't like fling it open. She just walked through.
So remember, left side though, not the right. Do you want to move your person over? Levin, you rolled. Same with Mech, or no?
I rolled a 26 for initiative.
Yeah, it's in the chat. It's should be in the founder chat. I think I rolled a 4.
Yes, it's in the Foundry chat. Initiative
You
plus
rolled
0, rolled a 4.
You rolled a 4, Mech,
Yeah,
Correct.
unfortunately.
and Levin, you were a what?
26.
26. Dang it! No, I don't mind at all. All right, cool. We're all set. Cool. And begin combat. So, Levin, you hear this going on. You see her fling open the tent.
All right. Real quick, and it's only because it's specifically relevant. When I open the tent, is there light coming out of the tent cast on my position?
Yes, there is light.
Okay, then I am not invisible to this creature. I will, however, take advantage of the first turn for Gloomstalker and start opening fire on him.
Gloomstalker! Okay, Pebbles. Yes,
Yeah, it's always fun. So,
there's a joke someday I'll tell you guys about my other buddy who's a Gloomstalker.
fire. Yep, there we go. 21 hit.
Yeah, it hits, says Pebbles, the DM.
Yeah, 5 points of damage and whatever is applied after the fact. It's non-magical pierce.
Okay.
But I think I will add a favored foe on this one. So that'll be an increase of 1d4.
He's scary.
For an additional 2 points, totaling 7 damage for that attack.
Cool.
So, hooray. Yeah. I took the attack action. first turn, I get to make an additional weapon attack as part of that action, and it deals an extra D8 of the weapon's damage type on a hit. So let's see. Another shot. Let's see if this works. 27, almost a crit.
Almost, but not quite.
Just to keep the math simple, I'm going to roll it as a crit because it's D8 plus D8 from the Dread Ambusher.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no modifiers changed. 11 points of pierce.
Ooh. Describe it.
Honestly, it's just a bolt going into a shadow creature. I mean, if he dissipates, he dissipates. There's not much I could do to describe a bolt going into a piece of fabric.
Not quite a piece of fabric, but you hear it like almost give a how do you want to say, like as it dies. You hear in the middle of the camp a loud shrieking sound. Sorry, listeners, I don't want to break your eardrums as I shriek.
That's fine.
What do you guys do? This is a couple 100 yards away, you'd think, or at least 100 yards away.
Big camp. What was that? Anybody else hear that?
Well,
on the other side.
if I don't immediately see anything with whatever is within my visual range, then I'm going to end my turn.
Okay. Nope. Yeah, you don't see anything.
I guess I will try and look around and see if I can figure out where it's gone, where it's going, where it can be. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to roll anything, or?
I mean,
For this,
it's I believe a search action is what's being asked for here, I think.
yeah, I'm guessing so. Because are you looking for the shadow that was in this tent, or are you looking for the sound that was outside of it?
I'm tracking this. I'm going to move to track the sound.
Okay. Yeah. What exactly would that be? Let's see here. You could use like any sort of like perception, survival, insight. Quite frankly, like
Perception it is.
I don't see why not. You notice it's like a couple, like it's got to be like a couple feet away. It's probably closer to like 25, 50 yards away, over in the northeast direction or northwest direction. Sorry.
I will. So on this map, that would be like here.
Northwest, other way.
Right directions. So in the okay.
Yeah, unless you're barreling through tents, the footpath is this way.
Barreling through tents.
You could barrel through tents. I ain't stopping you.
Yep.
You got
The
shut
cha-
the whole thing's open and it goes
Embrace
like
chaos.
She draws a knife and she's just gonna slash and dash.
I like it.
So yeah, she's going. If I can, I'm gonna try and get over. Well, I want to be over here, but I don't think
Okay.
I can move through the terrain because there's light walls there.
You can slash through it, but you can just
Well,
move your person. I think either way. So,
well,
but
I
I think
can't.
I think it's a limitation on Foundry where it's blocking the light. It's being counted as a straight wall, but
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I get here, and I'm looking around.
close. From what you heard, you probably have to make like one more action over. or one more movement action over.
So it would be like right there?
You moved, I think, 20 so far.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There we go. And now I'm here.
Great stuff.
And I don't see anything. Does my 23, now that I'm here, help me sense if there's anything nearby?
You hear some other folks sound like they're running towards the commotion.
And I know I'm in the spot where the sound came from?
No, you're still further. You're still a distance away. You're still like a whole movement away from it. Is what I was trying to get at.
Oh, like off the map?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't worry. There's another thing we can do.
Yeah, pull out my crossbow.
Even mine.
Actually, never mind. Scratch that. I'd probably keep my dagger because I feel like I'm about to get attacked. I think that I'll just end my turn there.
Great stuff. Fennec.
He will follow suit, and he will follow in Ceres' path.
Okay.
Let's see. That's not me. Ah. Oh, what am I doing? Why is this? Why can't I move?
Put it on the square
It is
on
on
the
the
left. Okay.
Because Sarah says it's her turn, technically.
Sorry. It's been a while.
No.
I forgot that was a thing.
I'm the sorry.
There we go.
For
All right,
now.
so there's my. Oh, if I. Okay, so that brings me to 40 feet there. That brings me to 60 feet. There's my dash.
Yep.
Oh, funny seeing you here.
It's just there's like it's nearby. Points off sort of northwest off the map. Somewhere around there.
All right, let's get moving. And that will be his turn. So he'll dash to catch up with Saris in the direction of the shriek.
Mac, you're up. And good job, Fennec, for hitting next on the turn order.
He can be taught.
Sensing this evil and realizing that it is gone, and hearing that and watching the chaos that just happened through the tents, Mech's gonna do the same thing. He's gonna pull out his hammer. He's gonna pull out his shield. His eyes are gonna go all red, and he's gonna go and dash. And I have about 60 feet, which will actually put me. You know what? I'm just gonna go.
Up and to the left.
I'm on the. Yeah.
Instead
Up
of
to
cutting his
left.
way through the tent, he just barrels through the wooden structure of it.
I mean, Steris just made like a whole bunch of like tears and holes through it, so I'm like, all right, no problem. I'm just gonna follow the exact path she did.
Yeah, you can just move your person through.
Yeah,
Yeah, no worries.
and I'm just gonna dash past them, because I'm gonna try to get in front of them and do divine sense again. But that's all I can do for now.
Cool. Well, the dash is an action, by the way.
Exactly. That's why I know I can't cast it.
Yeah.
All right. Levin will take the same path that Ceres took. So I have a collision, so just 30 feet will put me here.
Yep. Oh, yeah, I can move you through.
Thanks.
Yep.
All the while, he is going to call out loud enough that everyone within earshot is going to hear. Lights, lanterns, up! We got something!
Hey, it's bedtime. What are you doing, yelling?
There's been an attack!
Attack smack!
Maybe we should let them all die.
No,
that out.
but Levin is going to take the opportunity and he's going to search around to see if he can pinpoint what everyone else has been looking around for.
Yeah, and with everybody kind of like running in the same direction, and Saris like quickly kind of like giving you a direction to point in, you would get the general gist of the area everybody's heading towards.
All right, and a search wouldn't further refine that right now.
You could always try.
I'm sorry?
You could always try.
All right, I would like to attempt a search action.
Yeah, tell me how. Yeah, just how you're refining the search, and by all means, like no problem.
I see that there's a cart nearby. I would attempt to scale it to get a higher viewpoint.
Mhm.
While I was yelling for people to raise lights, and I would search from a small elevation, but sometimes it's enough.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead. Give me a little roll, just so you can see what exactly happened.
20.
So you notice that, like, as you hop up on top of the cart and kind of like start scanning around, you notice that there's a group of people rushing into a tent, and some of them look like some of the other guards.
Guards rushing into a tent?
Yep.
I'm going to briefly hook my hand and point towards where I see the commotion, and that's it. I've already spoken enough this turn.
All good.
In that case, Saris is going to run in that direction.
All right.
Which
And as
apparently
you,
leads off the map.
yeah, and as you head off into that direction, leading the rest of the party with you, you're gonna come to the area where the rest of the commotion has been going on, and you're gonna see a couple of the guards. Mech, you would recognize a couple of them, being the people that you were introduced to by what's his old name,
Merrick?
Merrick. And they're saying that, like, oh, we found them trying to attack one of these women here. And you'll notice that it was one of the other guards, actually. It wasn't like an older woman or anything like that. It was Miley for some reason. And everybody's saying, I thought they were you said to be on lookout for the older people, but for some reason that shade or shadow thing came after her, it looks like.
We just assumed they were targeting the weak. We really don't know.
No worries, no worries. You know, we're just glad that she ended up all right. We had put all the older folk into an area, as you can see, but I guess this one, for whatever reason, maybe got confused or something.
That's fine. Is everything else okay? Did you see where it went?
It seems like, Maylee, you all right? She says, "Yeah, I'm all right. Everything's fine here." It gave me quite a scare, though. Damn, that thing was weird.
Did it do any, like, what did it do? What was it doing?
Look,
Trying to do.
look, I'm fine. I'm good. It tried to do something weird. I could feel if you need to know, felt like my strength was going a bit, but I'm totally good now. So look, just leave me alone, all right?
That's fine.
Is there anything in her tone or dismissiveness that might be nope?
That would be potentially something like a insight. You could also use deception technically to try to notice anything about her.
I could use deception.
You could, in the sense of you're trying to notice if she's trying to deceive you. Mind you, you can also use insight just to do a general kind of insight check.
17 on deception.
She's being truthful, you gather, but she's trying to hurry y'all out because she's not interested in talking, it seems.
All right, Fennec, come on, let's go.
All right.
I've just been through enough.
Agreed. Shadows can be, well, not fun.
Do you know what that thing is?
I don't care about her personal space, and I look at her like, how did you fight it off?
Yeah.
Well, she didn't, as as other people hear that, it's like we had to come in and bust up the thing.
You busted up a shadow.
Yeah, of course. Just because it's a shadow don't mean it can't take a hit from this hammer.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
All I know is that it took a hit from this sucker, and he goes and bangs his hammer against his hand, and it folded like a piece of paper that's been soaked in the rain.
And it just folded over and melted into the ground, and it dissipated into the air.
Folded out, disappeared. All the same, it's gone.
That seems unlikely.
It's not dead.
Is my kind rude of a sir? I have a question. Is your hammer magical? Is it imbued with magic?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Ceres, you have some mic bleed?
She is. You notice there's rune engravings on his hammer. Now look, let's go have us some shine and let's have us a good night since we handled this situation. Come on, Meg, let's have us a good one.
I mean, if he did hit him with radiant, could have dealt with it.
Yeah, but Levin, your crossbow bolts, are those magical?
No.
And it gave this, from what he described, seems like it was the same effect that happened with you.
By the by, I am going to maintain watch in this area and do a sweep.
Mac, I'm with you. I'm not convinced. That thing's still out, or something's still out there.
We've seen one, we've heard of a second. But is that it?
Seems like.
I still err on the side of caution.
Agreed.
Much caution. If only there was a pattern.
You were referencing these things as shadows, correct?
Couldn't think. I mean, the way they've been moving and they move like shadows.
It makes sense. It's just something I'm going to have to look into once we get to a place with books.
Me too.
That's it. I'm going to do a perimeter.
Donut, keep your men somewhat sober. You fought the battle. I don't think the war's over.
Trolls and paths.
He's already drunk. He's already drunk on the floor. Like, all right.
All right. And so the evening passes. The next morning, Thomas comes up. You see, like, we'll cut to a shot of him, like, kind of stretching out wide. And then he comes and finds you guys and says, "Oh, so has anything happened?" And kind of like chews on his cigar a little bit and then like relights it and says, "Oh, is it, it seems like y'all had a night," as he kind of looks at you guys, maybe glaring at him of sorts.
Well, we were
Levin
doing
is
what
going
we
to
were paid
have,
for.
Levin is going to look nonplussed, and he's going to flatly tell him, "We're doing our jobs. We had an attack, and we heard reports of a second attack."
Well, wonderful that you took care of it. I greatly appreciate it.
I'm going to maintain vigilance over the next couple of nights, if that's all right by you.
Wonderful, wonderful. If we had an attack, we need to take care of it, for sure.
As a
Now-
precaution, though, for anyone that's packing up their camp, make sure that no shadow weirdness is going on.
Deal.
It,
Put it.
it might be hiding in the equipment as we're putting it away.
Okay, I hear you, and I'll ask the other. Who else saw the shadow thing? You're saying? I want to confirm.
Mech, you were acquainted with the individual, right?
No, the other one that you guys dealt with, the one, right? I want to know about the other one too.
That's why I'm asking Mech. I don't remember the individual's name.
Stoneheart, the dwarf. He has a few men.
It was
Ah,
an
okay.
attack of God named Millie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go talk to them in a little bit here once we get all sorted out. Y'all pack up and do what you're saying. We'll head out onto the road. Deal? We'll make sure everything's all spick and span.
Does he seem kind of like unfazed by all of this?
I wouldn't say unfazed. At the same time,
Sorry, go ahead.
he doesn't seem unfazed, but at the same time, it's more that he's trying to seem more like that he's not giving off any emotion about it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the way Levin's interpreting this is that Ramus is putting on airs so that nobody panics.
Yeah. Keeping us straight. All right. Just making sure.
We all pack out.
So those two victims have anything in common? Or the three at this point?
I don't have enough information to draw much connection outside of. It seems they were isolated for barely a moment.
That
I
seems
would
like the only
remind you
thing.
that I'd remind that two of them were older individuals, but one of them was also in her like 20s ish looking.
Yeah, for Levin, the only common point between the three of them is that they were on their own when they were attacked.
That's true. I just want to mention the age thing in case like you forgot it.
Gotcha.
Because I knew that you mentioned that earlier with the whole strength dude and everything. So
So, since that's the only reason that they have in common, everyone's going to have a battle buddy. No one goes anywhere alone.
When was the last time we did a head count?
Good point.
when was the last time you did a head count?
I'm going to get on that.
Technically speaking, none of us have. That would have been under the purview of Ramus.
Kind of. It would have been yeah, like Ramus / his like dudes, if you catch my drift. His like employees.
His retinue, yeah.
Yeah, like, and they haven't acted any sort of way, and he hasn't mentioned anything to you guys. And this far into the trip, we're talking like at this point, you guys are like a week plus into it. He hasn't mentioned anything, and he's been shooting straight with you guys about like the whole situations as you guys are going through, helping you guys mind the details of like, hey, when we're going through this area, watch out for X, Y, and Z, blah blah blah.
Fennec would have spent some time thinking, trying to connect dots, so to speak.
Yeah.
Levin.
Yes, Fennec?
The other night, when we found Harold, was he the only attack we knew about?
We were informed about Harold as a correction.
But he's the only one that we knew about afterwards. And you said you saw the shadow that night?
Myself and Sarah saw a suspicious shadow moving between a couple of the tents. It wasn't near where Harold was located, but that doesn't mean it didn't move there after we had noticed it.
Okay, but so we never caught it, meaning it could have stayed with the camp, but tonight we saw one in one tent when an attack was happening in another. So that means there's at least two.
Which is why I was maintaining vigilance on my watch.
Yes. But you had mentioned something missing that you noticed when they were carrying Harold away?
Yes, he specifically was missing his shadow.
Well, I think we found his shadow.
I don't follow.
The breeding.
You see, I was under the assumption that there was simply more than one of them to start.
It's just something doesn't add up, and we found what we were brought to Harold when they took him away. He didn't have a shadow. That night there was only one shadow. Harold dies, doesn't have a shadow, and then tonight there's two shadows.
So now we have two.
Well, one fewer. We did dispatch the one.
That we know of.
So they say.
So we say.
I'm thinking that whatever killed Harold, whatever what happened, his shadow is what's part of this. I don't know.
Well,
am I making any sense?
Whatever that thing was, it was incredibly evil, and I doubt he killed it with his hammer, and I incredibly doubt that you killed it with your crossbow.
And I'm thinking if more people are attacked and potentially killed, we're going to have more on our hands.
So what you're telling me is that someone is going to have to, with an ability to detect such things, do a sweep.
Can only do that, but so many times.
Yeah, we have such a large area.
That's why I said.
I'm sorry, I'm not quite fully aware of your capabilities with regards to your ability to track or sense such creatures. Mac, is there anything you can do? Fennec, is there anything you can do?
Nothing within my powers at the right now. I'm still learning, and that's. I know a little bit here and there, but that's something beyond right now. I don't even know if I'm right.
And for you, Mac?
I can sense a few times a day if there is something evil or undead.
That's only for the instant, for the sign that you used it.
It has to be
previous
at the
night.
moment. That'll be the best effective way.
Wouldn't you be able to channel magics towards a longer lasting version of that?
Eventually, but it takes time.
As in time spent resting?
Meta-wise, what are you trying to ask me? Because
Short version, meta-wise, I know Detect Evil and Good is in the Paladin spell list.
that's
He
just my
also-
divine sense. I'm not even casting a spell. It's just my divine sense.
Which is why I'm telling you mechanically you have access to Detect Evil and Good. I don't know whether you have it prepared or not.
I don't have that spell, no.
You don't have it prepared.
Hmm. Yeah, yes.
Okay, mechanic over.
Okay, sorry.
The mechanic over.
Haha.
I wish I need to throw reverb on this voice mod and just groan at you.
And
Sorry.
I quit. See you guys later. Good night. Have a good one.
I forget I get a list like a wizard.
No, paladins prepare spells.
Yeah.
Well,
Every
You have access to your full list. You just got to prep from it.
The same thing with druids is every day you can rechange your list. I mean, what your prepared spells are.
mhm.
and most of them are concentrated.
I forgot about it, but yeah, I do actually have the spell. I have to. It'll be ready tomorrow. I won't be able to do it tonight.
Right? Then
I think
The
tonight
simple
we got to make it through.
the simple solution would be, if we survive until tomorrow morning, you prepare your spell and you act as a toast while maintaining that. And as everyone passes near you, you would detect whether or not there is presence of such things, yes?
So you want to establish like a checkpoint.
Unless you want him doing a walk around.
It's easier if everybody's just passing through. Time saver.
And not having Meg to walk literally around the entire camp.
And, well, 2 birds with 1 stone, that gives us an ability to get a head count.
That is true.
Levin's gonna nod.
All right, so we have to survive the night. I'll get on preparing that.
I'll maintain a perimeter.
I'm going to bed.
All right.
Has anybody seen Saris?
She's
Jesus.
like, if she appears from behind Meg, like dusting off her hands. What?
He was trying to get my back.
I was hoping you were going to say appeared behind Fennec and said, "What is it?" Like in a whisper behind him.
In a perfect world. Nope. There is no shine on Mech anymore.
Oh, God.
Sirs, in case you were not privy to this conversation, we're going to be establishing a checkpoint as the people pass through to perhaps detect if these creatures are following us and are squirreling away in our possessions.
Checkpoint? That seems...
Literally, it's just magic being used to ascertain the location or presence of whatever we fought this night.
Well, if you're using the magic, it tells you the direction where they are.
And I'm assuming there are limitations to it, like duration and range.
Sounds like magical fascism.
And if it's similar to what Mech did earlier in this night, he saw that it was somewhere around, but didn't know its location until we opened up the tent.
Well, yeah, he's doing that weird thing he does. But if you're casting the spell, it tells you the direction. Lasts for 10 minutes.
Oh, so you have access to it.
Yeah.
Well, good, then we can triangulate if you would prepare it for tomorrow.
I'd rather not.
It's worth a shot.
I can see its utility, but the way you people tend to take damage, it's sort of...
Levin is going to, for quite possibly the first time, cut you a look. The way I take damage. Am I to remind you of the time in the bandit village?
Collectively, as a whole.
I can't
He's gonna
heal you,
look
no.
towards. He's gonna look towards the rest of the group. I think for your statement to be a little more accurate, you're going to have to exclude me.
You're part of the collective whole. You definitely trend the average upward, that's for sure.
Nope.
I don't make that average any better. But secondly, I also have heal spells. I have one prepared, and I can do it innately.
If you'll excuse me, I'm going to do a perimeter. I'd rather not be caught by surprise by this.
I'll go with you.
Mech, to be honest, you're not exactly subtle.
Mm. But
Less
I'm dirty.
shiny now. He is less shiny now.
He makes more noise than Fennec.
I cast Blessing of the Trickster on him. He has his disadvantage on stealth is removed.
He now makes as much noise as Fennec.
I'm actually pretty quiet.
So
When
was I inaccurate?
When you're not talking,
Oh,
but you're always
Well,
talking.
that does not always.
Always. You've told the same
Nonetheless-
story to every single person in the field.
That bard's name needs to be tarnished in mud.
It's the
And
same people.
And as soon as Fennec raises his voice, Levin is going to cut to
Sneak
where the
away.
light doesn't reach and literally goes invisible in front of the lot of you.
Shrugs.
He can do that.
I just gained a whole new level of respect for
I feel like I'm learning
I
so
mean-
much about everybody.
I can do that too. That's not impressive.
And
Yeah,
then as everyone finishes their comments there, the day ends and we go on to the next part. You guys are traveling. You guys have set up the magical checkpoints. And there hasn't been anything particularly of awry. You've actually even found some people that have registered as evil, quote unquote, that have triggered your detect good and evil, but after inspecting it, and even after like a couple of days of traveling, nothing has seemed to have happened of note.
Okay. And we're still trying to do a head count. So are we at 49? Like how many people do we got?
Yep.
Okay. The numbers checks. The math is mathing.
I would spend this time subtly keeping an eye on Millie, the last victim. Just to kind of get a sense of her, what she's like. Why is like this thing seems to target specific people, and I'm trying to suss out if there's anything in her.
Would you like to get a generic response, or would you like to do an insight check?
Would I like to do a what response?
Insight.
Would you like a generic response, or would you like an
Oh,
insight?
yeah, I will do insight.
Go ahead and roll it out.
All right. Real quick, just as a mechanics question, would be considered long rested for this period?
Totally. You guys have multiple days have now passed after this
Yeah,
point.
it's like a new day.
Yeah, it's multiple new days, in fact.
Insight.
I guess I don't need that spell anymore.
Well,
And
Mac, you've been doing it like day in and day out. You've been doing it for the last like 2 days out of like 6, let's say, or like 3 out of 6 days.
And I will be muttering a little prayer of guidance as well.
Let me ask one more question.
Sure.
When you're talking to her, like how kind of do you do that? Just as a kind of like, are you coming up and being
No,
like, "Hey,
I'm not talking to her.
coffee," or are you just watching?
I'm not talking to her. I'm stalking her.
Oh.
I don't want to like hear her answers. I want to watch her behavior and find out why she's delicious shadow bait.
Give me also a stealth roll.
Now we're talking.
Oh yeah, we're talking now. So very good. You notice that she's like, she keeps to herself quite a bit, except for the fact that she does talk to Merrick a little bit, and the rest of the veterans, if you could think of it like that, with this refugee squad.
Mm-hmm.
You notice that one day, like, how like stalky are you being? I should ask you this before I go any further.
I am the police song.
Like, are you watching her as she goes into her tent and stuff, or are you?
Every breath she takes, every move she makes, I'll be watching her.
Yeah,
All
she's
right.
up in the morning with her toothbrush in
So-
hand, except she's not holding it. Sarah says.
Yeah, the police. I get you. Another old reference for you kids over there. Okay.
The much better band than Wham.
Yeah, basically, but we'll get on that in the Thanksgiving episode. Or I guess Canadians have a different Thanksgiving, don't they? But regardless, anyway. So you notice during one of the times, like as you're watching over the next couple days, that she has this kind of like marking over her like left thigh that goes about from like like the top of the pelvis bone down to the bottom of the pelvis bone. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You kind of know where that area is, like the top of the butt cheek to the bottom of the butt cheek, but like on the thigh.
Right.
Yeah. And it looks like kind of like this marking that seems to be like almost like rotting away in front of you. And she kind of like quickly, like only briefly, like lets it like up into the air, and then before she like covers it back up and everything else. Otherwise, with your insight check, it's kind of like murky as to what exactly that is. but like you kind of have an inkling it's some sort of like mark, like dragon mark or something.
Like, does it remind me of my dragon mark?
In a way, but like it's different from, you haven't seen this one before for sure, and it's curious as to why it's like that.
Oh no. Okay. Do I know what aberrant dragon marks are?
Do you?
I mean, me, the player, does. I'm asking if Saris does.
I'm asking you as Sarah, do you?
Uh,
This is, I mean, how do I know that answer? What's your character though? Come on, this is your character.
I feel like she definitely would have gone out of her way to learn more about like what her mark is and what its relevance is, and followed through. So she probably knows like the basic cursory knowledge of an aberrant dragon mark, but she doesn't know like specifics, or like she doesn't know like the various types or anything like that. But she knows like they exist and they're supposed to be different from normal dragon marks, like the very bare bone basics. And it's only because, and the only reason that she would probably be able to recognize one is because she has a dragon mark, and so she's like, well, this is what like a legit dragon mark looks like, and she can like sort of compare and contrast.
Yeah. So I would
That-
say this: infer what you will like after the information that we gave you. I think you've got a good idea of what's going on, though.
Okay.
It sounds like your character, Saris, has a relatively good amount. I'll let you play it out as is.
I will go to Stepdad Levin. Well,
Dad.
yeah, during one of his not patrols, when he's not scouting the perimeter, I was like, I might have some distressing news for you.
Nod his head.
I think I know why Millie was targeted.
I'm not one for suspense. Could you please?
She, I believe she has an aberrant dragon mark.
And as you're telling him this, you guys start walking through a canyon in particular. And as you guys are going forward, you hear the line start making noise in front of you. You guys are maybe like, spread out a little bit inside of the cavern. And then you hear a whistle sounding. Rock slide! Rock slide! And you notice from the southern end of the border, rocks start coming down at you guys, tumbling down at the speed of light. And with that, we're going to end the session there, everybody. And we're going to pick it up there next week with the Players of the Realms.
Dun
Dying.
dun dun. See, stalking is a good and healthy behavior. You should embrace it more.
Obviously so.
You know, I always heard when the DM gets angry, it's just like, a big rock falls on you guys, you're all dead, make new characters. But
I mean, they're moving at
Alright.
the speed of light.
I know that
Speed of
is
light, speed of
Rocks
sound.
break relativistic physics. Everyone dies.
I don't know if you guys
Magic
I don't know if
rocks.
you guys have seen a rock slide, but they happen fast.
Whatever is happening on that map is killing my graphics card.
It's birds flying around and then sun glares, actually.
No, there's also significant shifting colors.
Oh, is it? Oh yeah, there is a color shift going on. Is it? Oh yeah, because there's like a
Oh, the birds are cool.
flare
I
going
didn't even
across
notice
the
the
board.
birds. I thought it was just the mouses.
I've tried to pull up the screen twice and it's crashed my graphics card.
Oh
Uh,
no.
You should be able to configure it in your game settings.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll make that a next week problem.
Like you can lower the frame rate or change your performance mode.
Yeah.
You
I
can
did
actually
it.
turn off light source animations and other vision animations as well.
Cool.
Like
do
I did
that.
it for the dice, for instance, because the dice sometimes take a big thing out of it. So
Oh yeah, I've had the dice off since we started.
All right.
Are we still recording? Fantastic.
I don't
Good
know.
night, everybody.
I don't know. Is Anthony still recording, or is there going to be a big?
I mean, you did the send off.
We did the send off. He can edit it from here. Not our problem, everybody.